Hi, I'm Amy Zegart, Associate Professor in the School of Public Affairs. Today I'll be doing a video op-ed for the Burkle Center. The op-ed comes from my forthcoming book, Spying Blind: The CIA, the FBI, and the Origins of 9/11. As the anniversary of 9/11 approaches, Americans are once again asking whether we are safer today than we were 6 years ago. Unfortunately, the answer is not encouraging. The Bush administration recently declassified portions of its latest national intelligence estimate about al-Qaeda. These estimates are the gold standard of U.S. intelligence, putting together the most authoritative judgments from across all 16 U.S. intelligence agencies about America's most dangerous enemies. The al-Qaeda estimate found that Osama bin Laden and his network had retained or rebuilt its homeland attack capability, had found a new safe haven in Pakistan, and continues to harbor determined ambitions to strike inside the United States, including attacks with weapons of mass destruction. Bush administration officials since 9/11 have trumpeted all the improvements made to U.S. intelligence agencies, but with all due respect, that's not saying very much. There is still today no one firmly in charge of the 16 different agencies in our U.S. intelligence system, despite the creation of a Director of National Intelligence in 2004. In fact, the first director, John Negroponte, lasted less than 20 months, quitting to return to the State Department. The number 2 position in that office has been vacant for more than a year. It is never a good sign when there is turnover that high in positions that important. Another new organization, the National Counterterrorism Center, has been heralded as the poster child of intelligence reform. And it is, in fact, a vast improvement over what existed before. Today, intelligence representatives from across the government sit in the same place, assessing terrorist threat reporting from Kansas to Cairo. There's even a classified website, NCTC Online, to deliver information to other government officials. Now, all that sounds good, but there are many problems with the Counterterrorism Center. Today, representatives to the National Counterterrorism Center still come from different agencies, which means they see different pieces of information. Only 2 of the 16 agencies, the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency, have serious experience doing the kind of all-source analysis that's required. This means that the other agency representatives are learning on the job. Until recently, there was no one representing state or local agencies, crucial partners in our domestic counterterrorism effort. And intelligence is still being fused by humans more than machines. Information is stored on more than 30 different incompatible computer systems. To access them all, analysts have to use nearly half a dozen different computers stacked underneath their desks. The joke at the Counterterrorism Center is that analysts have warm ankles from all the heat generated by those machines. That's the shining example. Information sharing everywhere else is even worse. Last summer, a bipartisan expert report by the Burkle Foundation found that information sharing efforts were still more of an aspiration than a reality. Turf wars and officials who cling to old ways of doing business were the culprit. In January of this year, the intelligence community's own chief information officer issued a similarly discouraging assessment of cultural barriers that continue to hamper information sharing efforts. And then there's the FBI. For the past 6 years, the Bureau has been struggling to transform itself from a law enforcement agency to a domestic intelligence organization. The Bureau has declared counterterrorism Job 1, has hired more than 1,000 new special agents, and has doubled its analyst corps, and has declared that these analysts, the dot connectors that are so important in counterterrorism, are now equal partners in the new FBI's mission. Unfortunately, however, the new FBI is still battling the old FBI's cops and robbers culture and regulations. Rules inside the Bureau today still mandate that the top spot in every FBI field office in the country has to be filled by a special agent. As one FBI official put it, the people who carry the guns and risk their lives. What this means is that analysts, however valued and however talented, must still do battle from below, convincing their special agent superiors that chasing information is as important as chasing suspects. As one analyst told me, despite progress since 9/11, outreach to his own agency remains an ongoing frustration. There is no magic potion for fixing what's wrong in U.S. intelligence agencies. Meaningful reform will take years. It will require top-down policy changes and bottom-up cultural transformation. It will require the urgency that accompanies another catastrophic failure, and even that may not be enough. Ultimately, judging success will take decades. Only a rearview mirror in a distant future will reveal how many plots Al-Qaeda hatched, how many of these were stopped, and what actions, policies, and capabilities made a difference. Until then, however, we should not confuse luck with effectiveness. Thankfully, we have not been attacked since 9/11, but we have a long way to go before U.S. intelligence agencies will successfully keep all of us safe.